I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit and pop over here. You guys should be able to see the screen. You guys should be able to see what we're working on. Go check on Ranger. How's Ranger doing? He's doing good. All right. So most of you guys know the deal. When we're hanging out here, I am working on work stuff in my other window. I am pressed for time as I normally am. Lots of stuff to do. So I am going to be working on that while I sit here and talk to you guys. Doominator420, thanks for coming by. Again, not working too hard, but if you guys need anything, let me know. Yeah, Deaden, yeah, the co-working's pretty alright. I kind of feel like I've watched enough Twitch in my time to know that most people kind of just treat this like a almost like a morning show, like when you used to drive into work and you'd have the radio on and you'd have whatever comedian or whatever, and it's just noise, you know, it's just something in the background. Where are my teeth? How's it going? And every now and then I'll give you something insightful, but for the most part we're just kind of hanging out. You know, it's chatting with friends, right? Not friends, F-R-E-N-S. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I got a fair amount of stuff to keep adding and putting in here, so I want to make sure that I've got, in a 32-hour training, I would rather blow over the top than be short. Also, the one other thing I'll be working on, which I won't be doing right now, but I might be doing later, is for our Linux Systems Administration course down in the Discord. I will be giving you guys the I will be not giving you guys, but I will be doing the Unit 7 and Unit 8 training this weekend because I'm not going to be able to do the Unit 8 training when I'm coming back from Hawaii that next weekend. So I'm gonna shoot for compressing it early and giving you guys more time to work through stuff. And then because I'm doing that, I think I'll give you I'll do that, and then I'm gonna still try to coordinate sending grounds to come on that last day, which I think is like the 31st or something, whatever that Saturday is. No, it's the second. So on the second, when I'm coming back, I'm gonna try to get sending grounds to still come and talk to you guys, even though I'll be gone. And he'll probably do it. He'll probably come in and give you guys a little chat talking about automation, right? Automation in this space and what that looks like. Because systems automation is different than just straight programming, right? Like, there's differences. Like, you're looking for speed and efficiencies in programming, coding, and software engineering type stuff that we don't necessarily care about the efficiencies. We care about the fact that it works through a majority of our use cases, right? And even the edge cases get caught and fixed automatically, right? Or alerted out. So yeah, so we'll go into that this week. I'll talk about that, and I'm going to organize my thoughts around that. I think I also was telling you guys last night, I had an idea that, so our Linux Systems Administration course in Discord will always be free. I will never charge anything for that. Anything in Discord will always be free. But for people that come later that want to like just have it in like one bundled up package, I'm probably just going to put together a little like a Lean Pub book, kind of like I did with our lab book. And it'll just be for people that want it all in one place and just want to be able to go and work through it and have kind of like a diary or like a journal of what they're doing. So, morning, Colchis. We are not working too hard. It thinks your name is Caucus, but not Colchis. But hey, we are hanging out, and I'm starting to build more of my training. I want to get more slides into my deck. I was telling you guys last night, I calculated it all out, and I was at, what was I at? I was at 194 slides, and I had originally wanted 480, but I backed off of that, and I said, all right, I'd like 360. That would be a good goal. But then I looked and I said, no, you know what? I'm going to be happy at 250. So I've got 56 more slides to make in the next couple days before the weekend. In fact, I'm traveling Sunday, so I wouldn't be able to do much on Sunday. I'd maybe be able to polish it up in the hotel room when I get there. But then, aside from that, yeah, we do the training Monday through Thursday next week. So it's like it's real close. So yeah. So we're just hanging out again, not working too hard. If anybody wants to ask questions, I'll try to give you guys some Linux advice. back to just me. Last night we had the other penguin up with the wife here. So we got a little one of those that shows me and the wife if she's here. That one was kind of fun. One of our guys made it for me. So, in fact, let me reduplicate that slide. Let me pull this up. And let me go I'm going to reduplicate this. Copy. Paste. As a duplicate. Then if I go work on the duplicate, I think this was the one that we decided. Yeah, I think this was the one that we decided we liked for when the wife is in town, or when the wife is hanging out by me. We'll have that one, and then the normal one will be this when it's just me hanging out. So yeah, so that's what we're working on. Make sure progress quest is running. Where my teeth, I'm currently delving deep into node distance vector algos. Nice. Yep. There's some good validation of stuff. You're probably doing some of that. What's his name? Ditchgraz. I can never say his name right, but it's like DIJK something. He's used in spanning tree protocol and open shortest path first as well as a lot of algos that the guys use over on the software side. Yep. Good stuff there. One of the nice things about systems engineering is that I tell people, like, a lot of times I don't have to go to like the O of whatever, or what they call that big O stuff. I don't have to do that. I just need my stuff to work. If my stuff works in 45 seconds or 4.5 seconds, that's not that big of a deal. Now, if it was 4.5 hours and 4 minutes, yeah, that is a big deal for us. But like on the system side. But on the system side, the difference between like a few 5-second runs and something that maybe is a little more verbose and takes 1 minute and 50 seconds, that's probably not a big thing. Now, yeah, of course, if you're talking thousands of jobs and thousands of systems, maybe you are starting to slow down or something. But for the most part, we care less about efficiency and more about edge case refinement. If somebody were saying, hey Scott, I'm hard pressing you to tell me the difference between like what a software engineer cares about and what you care about. Look, we're doing the same basic computer information systems. We're doing input, process, and output. It's just they are focused on efficiencies and reliability and some of the other things, and we're focused on edge cases and making sure that our system works no matter what. So Kano, you're welcome to hang out as much as you want, and being here instead of working is probably great. I am working while I'm talking to you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out. You guys are always welcome. So I gotta keep adding to my presentations, and some of the things we're talking about will be cluster operations, securing the cluster, security in the cluster. So I'm going to be talking about some of the major concepts around security. Yep. Treat you like a coworker talking to me while I still work. Yeah. Wear my teeth. I don't know if I told you, but I used to get yelled at by my manager at CGI. So when I worked at CGI, that was one of those projects where I told you guys they had to have like X amount of RHCEs on the project. So there were a bunch of people that had RHCs that didn't do any work, but I was on this other group we were all like the administrators on this one program. Well, administrators and engineers. And I would sit there and get a bunch of work done and knock out all these trouble tickets and kind of fix things. And a lot of the other guys would come hang out at my desk and ask me questions and stuff. So the manager would get mad. He's like, why is everybody hanging out at your desk? And I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you ask them? Like, he's like, well, yeah, but you're the one who kind of like lets them sit there. And I'm like, I don't let them sit there. They ask me questions. I'm still getting work done. I'm not going to And anyways, the manager would always give me a hard time. And that was really funny because he's like, he asked me to be his team lead. This was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my professional career. He asked me if I wanted to be like the team lead, like basically his right hand dude and like all the tech stuff. And I said, yeah, sure. And then I was on vacation for a few days and I was going to come back and I expected him to announce it. And I started seeing, we had this Google chat going and all the guys were like, congrats, congrats, congrats to this dude, Elliot, who he was the other guy that kind of had been up for consideration. And I was like, oh, what are we congratulating Elliot for? And they were like, oh yeah, he's the team lead. He's like the tech lead for the team. And I'm like, oh, okay, well. And then I like played over the conversation in my head and I'm like, the manager asked me to be his lead. And then he said, well, the reason I want to do this is to kind of make Elliot grow up a little bit. That was kind of like one of his things. And then it was super weird. I was like, well, because in my head, I was like, well, why did he ask me then? Like, that would be like if Colchis right now was like, hey, Scott, can I like put these sweet like racing stripes up my car? And I was like, fuck are you asking me for? It's your car. Do whatever you want. Like, that's what I felt like. I was like, why did he come to me then? If I wasn't going to be his lead, did he think I was going to get mad? I've never wanted, like I've told you guys this, and this has been proven for 20 years of my career. I have never wanted to be the manager. I've never wanted what we call implied or inherited authority from the organization. Like I've never wanted that structure. I've always wanted expert authority. And you say, what's expert authority? Well, expert authority is you don't have to listen to me, but you should listen to me. And that's the authority I've always had in an organization. I don't want to be in charge because I'm a manager and you have to listen to me, right? I don't want inherited authority. I want, yeah, can I do this? Well, let's make sure that all the boxes are checked over here. Like, why would somebody ask me for that? Yeah, I don't want to deal with the politics either, Teeth. The other thing, too, is I deal with enough what we call wiping of noses and changing out of binkies for my college students. So I don't necessarily need to do that for professionals at work, Like I don't need to, people joke around like, I'm going to a new job. All 4 of my grandparents are alive again. And I'm like, oh God, that's such a terrible way to think about it, The joke there being that now they can claim that their grandparent died when they want to get out of work, some kind of work or whatever. I just never got that. I never found the need to do that. All right, I'm gonna make some format changes on things. Let's make some colors change. Format the text to be the color black because I don't like that weird gray. Last job, they would bird dog me every day, but the day of launch or critical operation would not be found. Kind of like it's all on you now. Yeah. Yep, there's all kinds of things that happen out in the industry. And our job is just to keep the stuff running on the admin side of things. Keep the system running, keep the users running. And, our primary metric is uptime of systems. Our second most important metric is keeping that queue cleared, keeping our queue as low as possible. And I always try to keep anything that's in the queue, like if anything's in my name, I try to make sure it's not in my court. What do I mean by that? Like when a ticket comes in and then I take it, I do what needs to be done on it until I get to a stopping point, and then I send it to somebody else's, like waiting on customer, waiting on whatever, send an email, like I don't leave things. I wake up every morning and make sure there's nothing waiting on me. And it's funny, it's like you do that and people just think you're a rock star and you're like, what the hell? I am literally sitting here watching Netflix all day, but nobody's ever waiting on me. I make it a point, like I'm almost like obnoxious about it. I do not let things sit where I'm the one being waited on. I hate that. Where are my teeth? When I talk about edge cases, I'm talking about like, if you've ever heard of Pareto's rule. Pareto's rule is the 80% of the outcomes come from 20% of the inputs. And what that means is most of your problem comes from the 1 or 2 squeaky cogs or squeaky users. So when I talk about edge cases, I always talk about painting with a wide brush. I want my stuff to work, like Sex Panther, 60% of the time it works every time. But jokingly, but for seriously though, if I do something, I want it to work on like 95% of the things. And the things it fails on, I want to know immediately so I can spin that off to either my work queue or my junior engineers. Like if I'm doing patching at night and there's 1,000 servers and 45 of the servers don't take the patches correctly, I want to know that in the first 5 minutes of execution so that I can spin that off and hand that out to my team and go, okay, the 7 go to you, 7 go to you, 7 go to you. Let me know when they're done. And then it's like bam, 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 everything gets knocked out. Yeah, Deaden, the next best thing to not having 15 tickets is having, if you are going to have 15 tickets, make sure that nobody's waiting on you. Like, ask a question or something, like get clarification and then, but don't do that at the end of the day. I do it immediately. So, because a lot of those ticket queue systems, they have like timers on them. For good teams, they have timers on them. And I don't let stuff sit in my queue where it's on me. I don't let me be the one burning the long pole in the tent, or what we call in project management body of knowledge in the PMBOK, what we call the critical path, right? I don't want to be pushing out the critical path. You need all the tickets flagged high. Yeah, everything's an emergency. It's funny. I sit around and I act like I don't want to be in the middle of the fight. Like I don't want to be in the adrenaline junkie in the battle. But then I think, like, actually that's where I thrive the most. I really actually do like when they're like, Scott, show us your screen, and there's 16 people and we're all like trying to hammer through an issue. That actually does kind of get me fired up. Even though I sit around and act like I don't ever want, like I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. But then when it comes up and like the fire's on, I actually do enjoy that. So even though I have a hard time admitting that crap to myself. But that's all, that's all admin stuff. And I tell people, even if you're an engineer for many years, I've been an engineer for, like, I've had the title of engineer for over 15 years. And, like, I've had that set on me by companies. And I just, even with that, like, you never get out of admin work. You're always still doing some type of admin stuff. They will always call you back to ask why your system's not up, even if you're not the one running the system, You just help build it. All right. General security posture. Zips enabled. All right. There's a Nightbot telling you guys what we do over here. We've got a Discord. You guys are welcome to hang out in it. The Nightbot tells you guys that we're trying to get you guys doing this stuff professionally. Had a manager that would press on me and a coworker to push updates on some firmware, but he had no idea the timescales for our work. Yeah. Also, he probably didn't know that a lot of times nowadays you push a firmware update to like a secondary slot. Well, it depends on the type of device, but like switches will do this, and you'll put it to like a secondary slot or a like a queue, and then you've got to reboot the system typically to take firmware. So it's like, but when that new firmware comes up, we don't want that coming up in prod with something that hasn't been tested. You don't know what that's going to affect across the board. So yeah. Wear my teeth. I'll tell you one. I had a manager Actually, I just talked to him yesterday. I like the guy. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just gonna tell you about a perspective shift. He had been a Unix guy, and he had been a Unix guy with IBM, and he had done that for many years before he kind of jumped over into the Linux world. He was Unix, yeah, he was Unix, and then he was like a manager. So, guy was very good. He had done a lot of AIX systems and stuff. And I remember one day we were working. I was his right hand man. I was his tech lead for all of the platform engineering at AAA. And he goes like this one day. He comes to me and he goes, Scott, this is pissing me off. Why can't you guys get this patching right? You know, we do the patching and then some of the servers don't take it and this and this. He goes, man, when I used to do AIX, we would go in and we would have this doc and we would run it and we would get all 50 of our updates and we would do this and this and this. And I said, hold on a second here, boss. I'm not going to tell you guys his name because I like the guy. So hold on a second, boss. Who released patches for AIX? And he goes, IBM. And I go, and they were all from IBM. And he goes, yeah. And I go, and they always worked. And he goes, yeah. And I go, now who releases patches for Linux? And because he thought Red Hat Satellite meant that, you know, Red Hat pushed these 2,000 patches down or whatever, and they were all good. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. Patch World is the wild, wild fucking West. And the only thing you get from Red Hat is the fact that they're going to work on the system. That's the only thing they've tested. They haven't tested interoperability between those patches and other patches and those and that. No, they've just tested that goes in on the kernel before it gets into there. They don't know that those things interoperate with each other well, or that they work with Java, or that they work with Tomcat on your body. They don't test any of that stuff. So I was like, so you get once it's like it would be like the same difference with your buddy with an Apple, and they're like, well, why doesn't your stuff work the same? And you're like, dude, Apple is the only person that pushes updates to that. Literally nobody else can ever push updates, and they control the hardware. But we are like, we're running like a Frankenstein's monster. Yes, I know the difference. We're running this Frankenstein's monster of systems. Although, if you've ever seen that funny thing where the guy wrote in the caption at the end, he said, as he floated away on the iceberg, I said, you know people are going to call you Frankenstein, not Frankenstein's monster, right? And he yelled back, it's okay. I don't mind what they call me. And then that's the best ending to that book that could have ever been written. If you've never read Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, right? Mary Shelley's? Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Ecosystem for... Yeah, that's exactly right, Kano. Like where do you get your upstream from, right? And I tried to explain that to him. Like, look, man. And it always reminded me, there was a story about that. I'm not going to get into that too much. I'm going to keep writing stuff. You guys hang out and talk amongst yourselves. All right. External devices. FIPS enabled. SE Linux enabled. Internal. All right. So cubicle office, just talk, and we will all hear. Yeah. Anybody been around for? I don't know how much some of you have been in the industry or been in the office, but or in the office over the years. But when I worked at Lockheed Martin in the early 2000s, a lot of times we'd have these 6-foot tall cubicles, and I know they were 6 foot tall because I could almost see over them. Right? I just couldn't, but I almost could. And then they started going. People started going to like these shorter cubicles, and then it's like you get in this weird state now where like you're looking at your monitor, but then you like catch the eye of the person that sits directly across from you, and they're looking at their monitor, but you're like, are we looking at each other right now? Like what is it? It's super weird. It's just so I hated that in the office, so I would just put screens all over my desk, and I just had I always had 3 big monitors, Yeah, just start to wink, and so I would push them together so that we weren't looking directly at each other, because like you're legitimately working on something, but then you just see that you're like looking the other guy in the eyes or the other girl in the eyes, like across like this 4 feet of desk space between you, and it's like gets all awkward, you know. Um, yeah. So that's something to think about. Um, All right, so I'm doing a write up right now on different security tools, and some of you guys have seen this. Let me pull this up real quick here. So Killer Coda, by the way, you guys should check out. By the way, guys, Fisherman's on right now. Let me go give a shout out to Fisherman. Shout out at Fisherman. Hi, bro. If you guys don't follow Fisherman over on the Twitch side, you guys should, because he does some pretty good stuff. He's also live right now, but he's got some pretty good labs over here. But what I was going to show you guys was this other lab. I had put together the last 2 labs that I've built are here. Let me pull them up here. And I'm doing a write-up right now about STIG, which is Secure Technical Implementation Guidelines. And I have some OS STIG reports with this SCC tool, and I show you guys how to STIG scan and get a report of a Ubuntu box and a Firefox, if you have Firefox on your system. Fisherman talks a little bit. He does when he's on his breaks. Yeah. We'll raid over to him here in a little bit. I'm basically just gathering people up to go dump on him in a little bit, but he also probably does more meetings than me, because he's much more customer facing than I am. I refuse to be as customer facing in my work. I like to be like, stuff me in a hole and just let me talk to the other engineers. That's a much better life for me. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen this, so there's an SCC tool, and I'm going to start to put down for STIG tools. STIG tools, and then one is the OpenSCAP scanning and remediation, and then we got SCC scanning, OpenSCAP, SCC, and then Radix scanning. So let's see, OpenSCAP is a nice little tool. I actually need to, I've told you guys this a little bit, but I need to put together like an OpenSCAP one that shows you guys how to build your remediation stuff out. I think that would be a good little thing. So anyway, so I'm putting on this other training, the STIG tools, OpenSCAP, SCC, and then I don't know if it's a proprietary tool that they have, but it's a tool called Radix that does scanning for STIGs. My progress quest character is at level 47 right now. Is that too small to see? I think I can make that a little bigger. Hold on. I think I can make that a little bigger while still keeping it legible for you guys. Yeah, so you guys should be able to see me and that. Or you guys can see my text underneath still. Mufu Monk is at 33. Nice. Nice. Yeah, Progress Quest was the stupidest thing. And then, like, so when this game first came out, that's the game in the, like, bottom middle of the screen, guys. When that game first came out, I remember there was a little button on it to make it there was this whole write-up. They were like, yeah, people were complaining that there wasn't enough 3D animation, and they wanted this to be a little more 3D. So we added a 3D mode. And when you would click the 3D mode, what would happen to the game? I hope you guys, I think you guys can see my mouse on there. Let me see. Yeah, you guys should be able to see my mouse on there. Anyways, there was a that you'd click the 3D and then it would say 3D mode, and on the sides like the shading would get a little more updated, so it was kind of good. Dead End said, Scott, can you recommend any Ansible books for beginners? I've got the Ansible for DevOps. Well, before you buy any books, have you been through all of our labs on it? Dead End, have you been through all of our labs on Ansible? I've got 20 something. Well, so here's what I would recommend. I would say go do all my labs. There's 21 Ansible labs that I have. They start you off with installing it and setting up your inventory, because inventory is the most important part of any kind of automation tool. Like, if I don't know about a node, I can't hit it, right? Not reliably. Then I get you into ad hoc commands, making playbooks, and then I just start showing you a bunch of things that have been useful for me in my career. It's not an expansive list of all the things that are there, but I think it's enough to like get you started and thinking about like, oh, hey, this is how we push Jinja, and this is how we hit APIs if we need. Because I hit APIs all the time with Ansible. I hit APIs daily with Ansible to send reports into Slack or Teams or Discord. Some of you guys have seen the Discord pop up. That's all done with Ansible. Super easy to do. So, yeah. So, well, Dead, and hopefully you got at least this. So, that's where I would start before I spent any money. And then, yeah, so that's free stuff, right? Free is like the best price if the training's still good. And I think our training's pretty good for getting you hands-on. And I constantly tell you guys, too, when you get down near the bottom, if any of this stuff is useful to you and you want to use it, like if you're like, oh, I need to deploy NFS in my home lab, so can I use Scott's stuff? Please use it. Go grab it and load it into your own system and get it to work, and then report back to the Discord how it worked for you. I think that's one of the coolest things that could happen for us, right? Let's see, my day 4 training's up to 17, so I want to represent that. 17 slides is better than 16. Good for me. Okay. I gotta get these other ones. Gotta get my slide game up, guys. Gotta get my number of slides higher. That's what we're doing here. We're working. We're co-working. Again, we're not working too hard, but we are co-working, and we're getting systems work kind of set up. I've sent my manager that. So that's good. I need to add in a thing on Aptainer. Oh, Dad, and you said you don't know. Oh, so what I said was the labs have a lot of good stuff in them around, start with Ansible, installing it, making an inventory file. And then I said I show you some ad hoc commands, how to use it like one-offs, and then how to start building playbooks. Everything is playbooks. And I just show you things that are useful and have worked for me in my career. And then I was saying stuff like, if you get to the NFS one and you're like, oh, that's really useful, I could use that professionally or in my home lab, please steal it. Please take that and modify it and make it your own. And then if you want to give back in some way, then you go and you write that up on the Discord and drop it in like the Ansible and say, hey, that was pretty good, but then I needed this as well. Hey, Robodom, how's it going? Or I added this because I thought this was a nice little touch. And honestly, it's probably a technique I don't even know. Because I tell you guys all the time, I do the basic stuff well. That's what I do. And so, yeah, please go through this, Deaden. And then, yeah, if you want to give any feedback or let us know how it works, do this before you spend any money, right? Because, again, you can go spend probably a week in there just messing around. And even if you don't... even if you don't get everything you want, I really do think this will spin you off in a lot of different directions to go play with. I really do. You'd be like, oh, Scott gave me the tip of the iceberg on the API, but then you ask down in Discord, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I've actually done this, and this just this week with APIs, because I'm not overstating this. I literally hit APIs every day out of Ansible. I pull inventories, I send reports, I do all kinds of stuff. So, pushing message of the day to your servers and updating what the message of the day is. That's a nice little touch. It really does change the way that users interact with your servers. If you let them know, hey, by the end of this week, we're going to be doing some update. Like, there's a lot of stuff that users don't read their fucking corporate email. How many of you get literally over 100 extra messages a day? Maybe even like 300 extra messages a day. Some of us, like, I hate going on vacation, man. When I come back from vacation, I literally have thousands of emails that I'm never going to read. I even have it in my away message. It says, if you're sending me something and it's urgent, please resend it on this day, because corporate spam is a real thing, guys. Excuse me. All right. People are messaging me. Let me go message my brother. All right. I have 0 unread messages too, Deaden, because I keep them clean. But what I'm saying is when I come back from vacation, I want people to know there's no way I'm going to read all that shit. Now you can filter some stuff out, but then that goes to it begs the question, what's important, right? So anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, you can do a lot with Ansible. It's a very powerful tool. I joke around all the time about now you know why there's a cult of Ansible, right? All right. And then I can give an old 90s reference that I don't even think anybody would remember, but the nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right time. If anybody knows what that is, please let me know. I don't think you can even Google that. But if you want to try to Google it, it's the nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right time. And I'll give more of the quote if you guys can't get it, if you can't find it. All right, back to my training. Objectives, running security reports, security in the cluster, running reports. Robodom, do you know where that's from? Do you remember who said that and what it was? Most of my emails are promotional. Yeah, once somebody finds your thing. Nappy Brown. I don't think that's it. It was definitely Adam Sandler. It's an old Adam Sandler CD. And his buddy is like, why won't you or he's telling his buddy, why won't you join a cult with me? I got this girl I really like. And then they join the cult, and at the end of the skit, it's like, because they joined the cult for this girl, and at the end of the skit, he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you had to kill your parents for the cult. And he's like, no, it's okay, man. It was the only way to save them. And then they go back to chanting, the nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right. It's like this weird, old Adam Sandler stuff is weird, guys, but it's super funny. I mean, it was basically my 7th through maybe like 12th grade was just me giggling at Adam Sandler CDs. For sure, 7th and 8th grade, and it was super inappropriate. We shouldn't have been listening to any of that crap, but it was funny. All right, let's see. I am doing all this. And notebook, so we're putting together notebooks. All right. Also, Linux Head After Hours. Sorry I missed your follow, but hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Thanks for that. I don't know how I missed that follow. I think I saw it pop up, but I didn't. I think I was doing something else, so I didn't acknowledge it. But I do appreciate that. I appreciate all the follows and people that join the Discord. You know, it's just good times hanging out. Hanging out with the systems. All right. So now I'm going through this and I need to put a number on a slide to fix something here. So now I gotta match it Got to match the size and color of this thing. That's actually funny. Um, what is everybody else working on today? Hopefully you guys aren't taken away from work to hang out here. Let me shrink that down a little so it's more reasonable. Format, text, bold, and highlight color can be gray. All right, that's good. Keep up the hard work. Yeah. I'm definitely working hard. Working on case while listening about Linux in the background. Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Sysadmin lesson. Yeah, Robodom, you can catch up. Remember, for the next 2 weeks, this Friday, I'm planning on doing Unit 7 and 8. I was going to kind of surprise people, but I guess people that are hanging out with me now will know this. I'm not going to put this down in the Discord, but on Friday, 7 and 8 are going to pop up, and then I'll do the recordings that day. And it's just going to be, we're going to, I'll just have them recorded, and then I'll put them in the list, and then people can do them. I will still do the meeting on Saturday, but then we'll just hit everything, and then I'll just be around to answer questions even when I'm gone. Like, I'll still be around on the Discord while I'm in Hawaii. I just won't be, I won't be able to meet because I'll be out there either doing that or hanging with the wife. So that's always important. Spend time with the wife, always important, guys. Gotta keep the wife happy. Gotta keep the wife happy. And then you guys have seen we Fisherman made this for me yesterday. So now when the wife is here, I'll put this up. So it'll be me and the wife when she's around, and then when she's not around, I'll take that away because she's at work right now. She works for a school district. I told you guys that. She works on the help desk. So fun times for her. All right. Storage notes. So now I'm like looking through the training and just making sure that I have good information for everybody. Management provisioning network. That one doesn't really need to be separate. I don't know why I have that separate like that. just realized a bunch of our training. Oh, I see what happened. I was like, I wonder. I realized a bunch of our training had the word missing. Wifey never wanted to be a sysadmin. My wife never wants to do anything with tech. She just has hung out in tech for so long that like and it helped us that she's just gonna finish. She's got about 5 more years of work. So yeah, Trevor. So the way it works is my wife doesn't have a lot of work to do except around right after Christmas and then right after the so there's always a Christmas break where a lot of work gets done by the admins on the nodes and then or on all the desktops, and then the teachers come back and need a bunch of help. And then also all the systems get re-imaged over summer, so then the teachers get back and they can't remember their passwords or they need new access or some tool is moved to a different location, and then that's when she's super busy. Like the first week right after the holiday, and or right after the vacation time, as they call it. I guess in Europe they call that a holiday, don't they? When you go on that, but yeah. So the teachers get about 2.5 months off over summer out here, and then they get I think they get a week off in the Thanksgiving time frame, and then they get like 2 weeks off for Christmas. Yeah, it's kind of like an annual leave, and then also the kids get to forget everything all summer. So, although I loved that was like my favorite time growing up, was going and me and my friends would go, and we would play. A lot of us played sand volleyball, actually, surprisingly. We'd go play sand volleyball at a park, and then there was a library right there, and we'd go in the library and I'd check out books, and I did a lot of reading when I was a kid. So, but sand volleyball, yeah, that, and then we'd play twos, which means a lot of moving around, and it was fun. It was a fun game, fun time. So it was always fun. Lady come back after summer and said some reason the computer won't turn on. She spilled Gatorade on it and thought I wouldn't notice. Yep, man. And then the school district gave out. So this was interesting. As COVID started and they were doing a lot of remote schooling for the kids, this school district that my wife works for decided to hand out like 20,000 laptops. Yeah, the old picnic problems. Yep. Yeah, I love picnic and pebcacs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, those are the funny type of problems. Okay, let me keep going here. I need to keep hammering. I need to make some of these like these need to have a darker change. No. Undo. Alright. Don't want nothing to do with that. Alright. Alright, we'll get rid of that. I don't really need whatever that is. At the name format to make that color better. Everybody here know what a picnic problem is? You want to tell them what a picnic problem is, Deaden? Gateway. That's kind of funny. All right. I've got all this stuff. That's fine. Monitoring, we've got a couple of different types of monitoring that they'll deal with. And talk to them about the monitoring architecture. Talk about Prometheus in general. Time series database and all the components to that. Service level objectives, service level agreements, service level indicators. So if they want to add new services, then they can. See that they've used 10.2 terabytes of 5.4 petabytes total capacity on SSD. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good size. How's it going, Monkey Man? Pretty good size cluster for that type of storage. That's SSD storage too. That's gonna be fast. I need to show them. I'm gonna do some speed tests for them, just to show them how fast things are. Then show them some monitoring of their system, how fast things are happening, what the throughput looks like. How to look at historical data. I think that'll be good. I think it's actually 14 days. I say 14 up here. Yeah. Show them how to add nodes. Show them how to add to the configs. Also, guys, I have not taken my PCA yet, my Prometheus Certified Associate. I bought the cert when it was on for cheap. I think at this point, because of my doctorate work and stuff, I'm probably just going to take it early next year. Honestly, I probably could just go cheese it and pass it, but I don't like cheesing and passing things. I like to make sure I know everything kind of fully. If any of you guys are thinking about Prometheus stuff, we do have a pretty good study guide for it, but also you really want to spend time in the Prometheus training from these guys. I mean, this is like probably one of the best things on the web. These guys teaching you Prometheus. They've got their free training is good. They also have paid for training, but they have free training that is also really, really good. And the main one that I like from them is you go to Prom Labs and then you go to this cheat sheet right here. Is you can go in here and you can say, okay, I want to do node CPU seconds total, but I want to modify that a little bit, and I want to say, okay, I want that same thing, but I know that I can do every 5 minutes, and I can get like an aggregation of the last 5 minutes. Well, this isn't an aggregation yet, but then I could take this and I can start to do like a mean of it, right? And I can pull that, and then I can start to figure out information. Oh yeah, well, maybe I don't have the right function. I might need a different aggregator, but there's a bunch of aggregations and other things that you can do. Probably also get away with that too. Does it mean? Hold on, that's bugging me now. Like that? I don't know. You have to look it up, but the point is you can probably even go find it back over here how to do that. And this is just one of my favorite little things because it'll show you how to do. So there's rate. Huh, I thought mean was a function. You can get derivatives and deltas and max over time and average. I guess you can do average over time. There you go. So it's not mean, it was average over time. But now I can do that same thing here and go look at their average over time for that. And then I can go back to my other thing that I was looking at, which was CPU, right? Was it node CPU? I don't know, guess seconds total maybe. And then I can look at that and I can see whatever the averages or whatever, right? So you could just start to find a bunch of information out and test your Prometheus queries based on these values here. So I think that's one of the best things on the web right there. Part of me wants to go play a video game. I know lock it in for some of all the code I'm writing. Yeah, wear my teeth. I will sometimes just kind of play a round of Brotato or play a round of Deep Rock Galactic Survivors or whatever, and then I'll just go right back to doing what I'm doing. It is actually funny. Like I would, it's very counterintuitive, but I'm more focused when I'm hanging out with you guys. I've actually gotten a lot of stuff done while we've been sitting here talking. So, so alerts, doing alert manager, logging, how logging works, sending node configurations over. SA log is a log that keeps track of servers and maintenance. Reading SA log. Etsy cluster.conf. I need to go make sure that's the right file. You don't feel bad if he hasn't done a thing. That's funny. Proper copper coffee pot. What's up, dude? Hit this. Your Nagios and Grafana configs publicly available to take a peek at. They are up in the Discord. Over the years, I've put them up there. I don't like have them in a GitHub or anything, but like I don't hide them or anything. If you need them and you want me to post them up in like the Discord or something, I can do that. I have a drawing that sometimes helps people. Hold on. Let me see if I have. I don't see my. Oh, that's annoying. I don't see my. But like the architecture of it, I also show pretty often. But I don't see. I gotta make a new source. It's always annoying when I just gotta like drop a new source on because I don't have one of my other ones. But give me a second here. I'll pull up a source and show it to you guys. Let's see. File open recent, and it should be monitoring. Yeah. So if anybody's curious to how like our monitoring works, let me add a new source and we'll call this VS Code. And then my VS Code is here. And let me make it just a little smaller so it's not in front of everything. There we go. I'm transitioned over to that so you guys can see. So this is the architecture of my Prolog monitoring lab. We have all the ingest over here, all the storage here, and then all the presentation with Grafana. So if you were wondering like what components I do, you're setting up Nagios for the on-premise LAN, and it's still task pending. Would love to have something built from. Yeah. So wait. You didn't need just Nagios, did you? Oh, you want to know how to pass Nagios? One of the problems with passing stuff through anymore is it's really difficult to do in the newer ones. I have an older version of Grafana that allows me to do that. Yeah, like what are we up to? Grafana 11. The Grafana that I use to pass that through is Grafana 6. But I can still show you real quick. Hold on, I can still show you. Let me get rid of that real quick. Let me hide my VS Code and then pull this back. And I'll show you. I mean, this is the one interesting thing here, maybe. Do we have one of these was just, hold on, I gotta go. Looked like one of these was just Google. All right, let me get rid of that. Let me come back over here to Ranger with the Nagios. The bad thing about it is all I'm doing with Nagios is passing through as an iframe, but I don't think you can really do iframes anymore with the newer Grafana. They might have the ability for you to do that. But yeah, this is just a drive-by, basically iframe, and then we just go grab the Nagios device and then look at the host group. So then it just nets me this, and then I just keep it at the bottom. There's more, a bunch of servers that no longer exist, but it's down there. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's a pretty simple type of design. It's literally just a visualization of text with an iframe border in it, and it goes and it grabs that and it parses that. I don't know if newer Nagios or newer Grafana does that. Let's see. And so it's basically called iframe pass through. And I don't know. See, this is from 2018, so that's 6 years ago. Um, I wonder if they're if in Grafana 11, you know, are they allowing that to come through? So this is how to embed Grafana into others. I want to allow something in. So somebody asked in April of 2024. So this is newer, and they asked I need to embed an iframe, and I want to do this. They also, so this is the other thing in the Grafana.ini, you need to allow embedding and disable sanitize, true. But then it looks like this didn't work for him, so let's go see what he did. Let me go look. Yes, I'm able to see the image tag with JPEG, but it's not working with an iframe HTML link. Page iframe status. Post 3000. So they're doing basically the same thing that I was saying, or that I do. So pull it through or whatever, and then it's because you didn't disable HTML sanitation equals dangerous. HTML tags won't be implemented HTML, but it's string only. Grafana config as sections, so those config options must be in the right sections, not in a random place. Okay. So what is this little mini doc here? I don't know if this is useful. No, that doesn't help us any. I don't know if they got to an answer on this, but this was in April of this year. I can link this if you want to see it. But this guy did all the same things that I had done in older ones. Providing that Grafana instance is internal, not public facing, then using old version to accommodate the iframe should be fine. No, yeah, maybe if you can find a version 6. Version 6 is kind of old, but you might be able to find it out there. Yeah, I mean, I guess anything that's ever been pushed up. Yeah, so my Grafana in this case is, I mean, this is an older version here. 6.7.1. And then the configs for that looked like this. SH2, what is that guy? That guy is Grafana, the first Grafana box that I had. So let's go look in here. What changes I know I made. I hate these kind of weird. That's all local stuff. If I'm using any of the local stuff, which I'm not. Not using any of that. Not using any of that. We might just have to grab the stuff that we care about. Alright, we're gonna redo this. Alright. I for sure changed on this. Something called dirty. That's still way too much shit, isn't it? Normally I keep a original and I can diff them. I don't know why I didn't do that here. Probably because I was being lazy. When I do it professionally, I always keep an original version of things so I can look. Yeah, I don't remember all the things I changed in here. I remember there were 3 things that had to change. I don't remember what they all were. So, yeah, but that's kind of where you'd go. That's where I'd kind of mess with. All right, I'm gonna go back to letting Ranger Cam spin and let all this stuff spin. I'm gonna move all this stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna go back to my system setup. I'm gonna keep going through my docs here. Let's see. We reference our essay log looks up users and other items. Excuse me. All right, let's duplicate this slide, and then let's go look at. Let's go look at this file here. Oh man. Again, I think I have some kind of massive allergies right now. Where I just start sneezing for no reason. Thank you, Runamacher. I appreciate that. Man, I did not mean to sneeze right there so loud. Although the wife does make fun of me for how loud I sneeze. She thinks I do it on purpose, and I'm like, I am not. I assure you I am not making that noise on purpose. Yeah, 'tis the season. Plus, Phoenix just finally started cooling down. So it's like we went from being boiling at the beginning of even this month to like chilling. And then now I might need to do all this stuff, show them how to use that. Show them how to use some Kubernetes stuff. It's the dad sneeze. Yeah, I need everybody around me to know I'm sneezing. Yeah, thanks for coming by, PCCP. It's better than the tongue twister of trying to say that whole name. But thanks for coming by. Hopefully this stuff's useful. I'm going to keep adding system checkout. And should have agents on them. Okay, good. So all that's there for us to talk about a little bit. I'm going to spend a little bit of time. All right, so that's that page. That one's still 80 slides. And then I got to get into this one. Yeah. And Robodom, you're not working today, or isn't oh, for some reason I was thinking it was Monday. That's funny. I was going to say, isn't Monday one of your days off? But then I realized it's not even Monday for me to say that. That's funny. I have no idea what day it is, guys. All right. Let me go keep adding to this. Ranger's looking around, all confused. Somewhere in the 2000s. Yeah. Oh man, if it was Sunday, I'd be getting on a long flight. I even told the wife because so this is gonna sound super cheeseball, but when me and the wife fly, we sit and we'll watch movies, and we just use one pair of earbuds, and then I just put the right one in, and she puts the left one in. And then it's Friday on a Wednesday, but it feels like a Monday. Yeah. Haplo, how are you doing, by the way? Hopefully this stuff's useful. Well, I mean, even though we're messing around right now, hopefully some of this is useful. But me and the wife, yeah, we'll just sit there and we'll put one ear in on each side, and then we will just watch movies. So I was telling her, I'm like, this is a 6-hour flight, so we need probably like at least 2 good movies to watch if we're gonna watch them. And then she falls asleep. She's like a kitty cat. Like, I look over at her, and then she's just got her head back, and she's snoring, you know? So, no, she's not snoring, and I'll get in trouble for saying that. But the point is, she's out. So, I'll just pause it. But I told her, I was like, let's get some, we'll find a show that's like 30-minute little blocks that we can watch. So, we'll probably get, the one that was actually fun that we didn't finish the last time was all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. So, we'll get those, because I made her watch, like, the first 5, because she had never seen them. And I'm like, didn't you grow up with these? And she's like, yeah, but I was a little older, so I didn't really care about them as much. And I was like, all right. I loved them, though. I grew up with all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors shows. So anyways, they do that. And then, let's see, we go to... let me kind of think about this a little bit. And then and then we'll both have our books to read. I always have a book to read when I'm flying, because I pass a lot of time reading. So and I read pretty quickly, so I can get a lot done. I typically finish a book on a 6-hour flight. I'd probably finish whatever book I was reading, because I tend to read pretty quick. So I have been reading my whole life, right? So it's kind of a skill I've picked up. So. I'll do that, get that out of the way, and then I gotta figure out, just some other stuff, but it's a long flight. What am I reading right now? I'm actually reading, I picked up a Stephen King book called You Like It Darker, and it's just a bunch of short stories. I don't go out of my way for Stephen King, but I kind of wanted to hear some horror stuff when I was flying this last time, and it was actually pretty alright. Yeah, Robodom, I don't really sleep on a plane either. I just stay up and read or do something. And I refuse to be one of those guys that busts out his laptop and does work. I'm not going to do that on a plane. So I'll just sit there and read instead. So, we're also doing a Southwest flight, and it's nonstop. I think it's like 6.5 hours or something like that. But it's so from Phoenix to Hawaii. But then the other thing too is that we what was I going to say? We don't get, let me think. We're in the first A1 through 15. So you pick your own seats on that flight. So then we'll go pick our seats, and hopefully nobody sits by us, and then we just get the whole row to ourselves. But yeah. So, all right. Let me, I'm going to take a walk real quick, guys. Robodom, you're in charge till I get back. A group is where it's at for sure. I let the company pay a little extra, and then the company doesn't cover my wife's flight out there. But my flight was free, obviously, because they're paying for me to go out there. So not that I'm not covering that, but I am covering the wife's flight to be by me. So that's important. All right, I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna take a walk. Did our music stop? Oh no, I hear our music. Okay. TFW unmute and it's so quiet. What happened? I don't think I unmuted. I had walked away for a second. So I was, I don't know why my sound went so low though. I couldn't even hear it until I sat back in my chair. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Let's see. I'm looking at... So... New slide. Change a different layout. I gotta figure out why these are... I gotta figure out this color theme for my slides. For some reason I can't get the like the background is not. There we go. All right, that's what I wanted. I want these all light gray. Whoops. I want to change the theme. I just want to change background to this. Add the theme. Boom. Alright. Good. I think that makes everything look more like what I want. Change background to gray. Add the theme. Alright. Anybody else doing anything interesting today? We're just kind of hanging out. I'm kind of co-working right now, and on this other screen I'm just building out my training for Hawaii. Alright, there we go. Alright. I'm letting them know that the werewolf process is controlled by the coral sink and pacemaker. Trevor Enigma, nice. Yeah, how are the killer coda labs for you? You don't have to do, by the way guys, there's like my labs and Fisherman's labs are about, I don't know, 64 labs or so on there. And then if I had to guess, there's another 1,000+ labs on Killer Coda, so like you guys do not need to just do our labs. I mean, I like when you guys do and then give me some feedback, but just remember, man, there's a massive, my reason that's such a favorite site for me is twofold. One, it gets you into a browser for free, or into not a browser but a CLI for free, right? Bash. And then the other reason I think it's so good is there's people that just want to show you how to do things. So yeah, get your hands on those labs, guys. The more you're doing that, the better I think you are in prepping yourself for systems work. Werewolf does not start up on server boot. Werewolf should not be directly started on either of the head nodes. Werewolf is dependent on other items that start after with sync and Werewolf is dependent on other items that start with CoroSync and Pacemaker. Yeah, Trevor Enigma. I think that's how a lot of people are, right? Like, there's that old saying: you hear, you forget; you see, you remember; you do, you understand. And it's like, yeah, I could read a book all day. I can look at slides and watch other people do stuff. But when I get my hands on it, that's really when like something changes and clicks for me. Robodom said, "Hey, Het, do you think contract positions are more accessible for somebody with little to no tech experience?" Yeah, Robodom, it depends. So if you find a company that's got contracts, let's just use an example of one out here in Phoenix called like the Judge Group or something. And you've got some Linux experience, and they've got like some 6-month contracts open to go and help, build a new cluster or do something. I do think that that's pretty accessible for people. If you have some skills in the space and you kind of go do that. And then the cool thing for you is you get to work with a lot of new technology. I know some people who have spent most of their careers just doing contract work because they never wanted to be locked into like older aging technologies. Like, I've shown you guys this before, but this is like a super useful thing to understand is the technology adoption curve. This is a real thing. This isn't so you've got the technology adoption life cycle. This is another way people will call it the innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Some people will call it this. And this is, a standard distribution of people. But some people want to be over here innovating, and they're always bleeding edge type stuff. And then some people are early adopters when something goes to stable or whatever. Then there's an early majority. But like when I was working insurance, I was back here often. I was often on like the, hey, we're not going somewhere until something's real stable. Colleges are like this. A lot of high performance compute is like this. The high performance compute I've been building lately has been up here. We're early adopters of a lot of this technology. In fact, we're some of the only ones using some of the hardware technology we're on. So knowing where your organization, like, there's also a sweet spot over here. I know people that really have thrived over here with working for like insurance companies. Insurance companies are always back here. They're not, look, they make money off of risk. They don't go over here and make risk for themselves. This is more of like your startups and but when you're doing contract work, you're probably up here with the early adopters and early majority, and you're working with newer technologies. Some of them do look for a lot because they want people to be able to work with little or no, I guess, like direction. Let's see if we can find a good image of this. This is typically, this is a good one that I've seen. Let's just open the image in a new tab. Does the image look okay? Yeah, it's a little hard to read, but that's about. And there always is, a lot of people will call this the chasm between innovators and some of the early adopters, and then when things get even more stable and have more support before they go over here. So yeah, that's an important concept to think about. All right, I'm going to set this thing spinning again. How's Ranger doing? Ranger's not moving around too much. Yeah, Robodom, you just got to keep looking around. But here's the thing, too. I tell you guys, when you're looking to get into Linux systems administration, you should also be thinking of things like NOC. I want to go work in the NOC. I want to go work in the SOC. the security operations center. So Linux systems administration is at its heart an operations task job. So you should be looking for those type of roles because here's the thing, especially early on in your career, and this sucks, but it's true. Sometimes to get your foot in the door, you got to accept that third shift. Third shift hours, I'm telling you, man, that late night stuff will mess your world up after a while. But you always wear socks while working in the knock. Nice. Um, the the thing about working in the sock and the knock is sometimes you take that third shift, but here's the thing. You get in there, you start showing that you know how to document stuff. You start building, and all the time, yeah, third shift hour, Robodom, like the 10 o'clock at night to 8 a.m. type shift, 4 days a week or something, 4 10s. Like, it's brutal sometimes for people, but it gets you in the field. And then, once you get an engineer title, you never work that late again. Well, and you do get on call. Except, for the most part, your knock people, because they are the ones calling the on call, they're never on call because they're actually in the data center. They're actually the ones sitting there doing the mon. I do the calling, so I never have to get called type stuff. If you want to think of it like that. So, all right. So werewolf operations, container build process. Don't ever let anyone convince you that smart errors can be ignored. Yeah. Alright, looking at images, looking at system stuff. They can be edited in place or in their jails. If you edit them in place, then it's there. Editing container images. Any slide and then say, I'll say, oops. It is if you edit an image in a siege root jail or with Ansible, the image does not build. Build it manually. So I'm going to show how to do that real quick. Alright, so editing container images, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Runamacher, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Or unless one of you guys are bouncing, I might have looked. I might have missed. Yeah, yeah. Or wear my teeth for lurking. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, we're not working too hard today, guys. I'm just kind of putting stuff here and going. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, guys. Sometimes when I catch up, I look at the bottom thing. There's actually a problem I have sometimes in emails too. I have to make sure I go and reread all the things I missed from all the different people before I respond. Because sometimes I say something and somebody already said it, and I'm like, I hate doing that. My information's still accurate. It just wasn't timely, and I dislike that. It's more in my mind. It's more of a sin to be incorrect than it is to be late. But like being late is just an annoyance. Being incorrect is not acceptable as an engineer, right? And I tell you guys that from like a perspective of I'm always telling you guys that the most important thing that we deal with as engineers, our currency, is how correct we are, right? Like how quickly we get to the right answer and how accurate we are in what we tell people. So I'm up to 49 slides on this one, so this one's getting a little bigger. Setting a container node, verifying container node, looking at overlays. That out of the way. That out of the way. Yeah. It's a kind of like a staple of being an engineer is like all right, hold on. Sorry, I gotta keep looking. So overlays, how they're set, comparing overlays, watching them pull their runtime, making sure that their runtime overlay is on. Then we can look at kernels. Kernels can be set separately, but we're not really doing that. Then werewolf nodes. All nodes. I might duplicate this slide and say, no, I don't want to duplicate that slide. all nodes are stored. Where's that file at? Let's see, werewolfnodes.conf. What was that file? Nodes.conf. So I'm going to let them know that there's a lot of information that can be pulled out of that file. And then I'm going to make that text dark. A little bit smaller. Huh. But other than that, yeah, we're just kind of hanging out, making sure my did my other thing stop working? Hold on. I feel like our there it is. Okay, progress quest stops every now and then, so I had to go check on it. We're up to level 47 on our Panda Man. I think I've been running that thing since this weekend. quite a bit of days running on that progress quest guy. So pretty funny little game if you ask me. All right, let's see. What are we up to here? 50 slides. Grab. I gotta remove formatting from this thing. Formatting options. Yeah. Text. No. Need to change the background. Text background. Highlight color needs to be there we go. Alright. Yeah, let's go. You guys got the you guys got all the emotes down there, all the Linux. So you guys know what it is. Alright. People have seen Slurm. I think they know how Slurm works. I'm going to get rid of the configless Slurm. The Slurm partition, Slurm jobs, Slurm queue move. I need to update that. I got to figure out that part of it. Make that dark text. Change that to also be dark text. Inventories, then labs. Alright. Definitely need to work on that a little bit. Format. Color. Black. There we go. Is that thing still spinning? Yeah, good. Make sure Ranger Cam is not the only one. There you go. Alright, different monitoring stuff. Also, our monitoring should no longer be busted because we did get... Oh man, 3 to 4 foot snake while mowing your lawn. Yeah, that's wild, Chris. Did you make it a bunch of very short, like inch long snakes by putting it under the mower, or did you relocate him? I guess it depends on what kind of snake he was. If he's the kind with the shaky tail, I'd definitely give him the old chop. But if he wasn't, you know, I'd probably let him live if he was just one that eats those type. When I was a kid, we used to catch little Gartner snakes. I think that's what they're called, Gartner snakes. And they would bite the crap out of us, but we were little. I'm surprised we would play with them, but we knew they weren't poisonous, so we would catch them and just hold them in our hands and stuff, and then they'd sit there and try to bite us, and then we'd like let them go or make them fight scorpions or whatever the hell we did when we were like seriously, like not even in the double digits kids, like seriously, probably when we were like 7, 8, 9, me and my brother would catch them and mess around with them. Yeah, we were kind of crazy. Yeah, if you got copperhead, we have those out here too, but I think it had been in like just beaten into our heads which snakes were poisonous and which ones weren't. Although the general rule was you were supposed to run away from them, but we were kind of dumb kids running around our neighborhood. Like a lot of you guys that are younger, and Chris, I don't know if you fall into this, but I think you might because I think you're a little younger, but for the older of us, we just basically got locked out during the day, and then we'd have to go do whatever. How's it going, Simon? We're not working too hard today. We're just kind of co-working and hanging out and jamming out a little bit while I work on stuff on my other slides. Oh, wait, this is my werewolf stuff. So I don't want this here. I want this under my slurm. So cut that slide. Put it down here. That up one. Say so checking out slurm is also gonna be 6 GSO1 slurm Maria. And let's see, what other ones might there be here that are interesting? Say maybe listening services on the running node. So running slurm, check all that stuff, check all that, verifying it's operational, and then I can slide checking correct. Correct slurm. Got to make sure that the right slurm ports are listening. That's important. Day 3. 52 slides on day 3, so that's good. Gonna keep working those up. Yeah, Chris, I'm getting there. I probably want. I mean, let me do some quick maths here real quick. I've got 80 plus 50 plus 52 plus 17. That puts me at 199. So I've made 5 today so far, and I'm trying to. By the end of today, I'm hoping to have over 250. So I've got another 51 or so to make today. I think I can do it. I think I'll get there. Anything above that, I think, will just be good extra stuff for the process, I guess. So yeah. So again, guys, we're not working too hard, but if you guys have questions or you want to see anything. Go turn this over here back into the normal. We were talking about Grafana earlier, so I was over there showing people how my Grafana setup worked in the home lab. I may go start hammering a lot of stuff out on the day 4 slides and spend some time in there with everybody. I think I can get a lot of good kind of info in there. And then that will also be day 4 will be one of, I think, the easier days for me to fill because I'm bringing in a guest speaker. So so that'll be important. All right, let me keep working on this stuff. Trying to think of what other things I would want to know if I were checking out just Slurm in general. All right. So another thing I need to do is start figuring out where I want them to do the different lab activities throughout the day. And if they can get through them all, or if we need to keep pushing it back. And pushing it back would be preferable to any other kind of things. Excuse me. Yeah, I got a fair amount of stuff to keep working on here, so I think when I hit 200, which will be one more slide, I'll go take another little walk, and I think I might have some more pizza downstairs from last night. I might eat cold pizza for my second breakfast. Will be cold pizza. First breakfast was also cold pizza, but we'll see how that goes. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, nice. One of our guys made it to another round of his interviews, so that's always good. It's always good to know. I see that picture of that snake, Chris. That's it's down in the Discord on the complaints department. That's a good reason to complain, I think. Little danger noodles hanging out. Alright. Then what did I miss down here in certifications? Anybody get a certification? Oh, nice. Yeah, if you guys are in our Discord and you go to our certification topics, I just relinked the Pathfinder doc. Was somewhere between a sneeze and a cough. Our Pathfinder doc, one of our guys put together a really good kind of summary of the API Academy course, and it functions really well as a study guide when you go to take the final. There's 3 different tests, and each one of them give you a different cert. So, yeah, it looks like another one of our guys found it, so that's awesome. Yeah, cold pizza is my favorite. But here's a fun fact. There's very few things that bug me like this, but this is one of them. I don't like if food has been sitting out for like 5 hours to just pick it up off the counter and eat it. You know how guys will like leave pizza out all night and then eat it the next morning? I can't do that. I draw the line at that. If the pizza was like out for a couple hours and then we threw it in the fridge, I'll eat that cold. But I won't eat it like off the table the next day cold. I think that's like room temperature. I can't even do that. But you know, my older brother can fucking eat anything, man. My older brother, he's got like a goat's stomach. He'll just keeping it in the oven's probably a little better. I mean, it's still warm. I guess maybe if you heat it up in the morning, that's safer than, I don't know. I know people that keep stuff in the oven though, but I don't like leaving stuff out on the counter. What services should be running? If they're not, why are they not? How do we find what's broken? So, checking that the storage is there and the storage is mounted. Node checkout. Make sure that's working. Make sure that's working. Make sure that's going. Finding broken services. Checking network devices. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'll check. I guess in extreme cases, finding the drivers. Right. Run Amucker, we don't have certs, no, but we have a bunch of certs that we tell people to go get for free. So one of the things was, for the certs were the API Academy one. No, we don't have that, but we do have some training docs that we put together. Guy Ross, I thought infantrymen ate it. Yeah, when I was in the field 20 years ago, I'd eat almost anything. Do you know what I never could eat though? Even like, it didn't matter like how hungry I was. I remember one time, this actually happened to me. I was out in the field and I thought, man, I could eat anything when I'm out in the field. So I'm going to try this when it comes back around again. And the cooks brought it out and I tried it and I still could not keep it in my mouth and chew it and eat it. Was spinach. Because they would bring, sometimes they'd bring like a steamed spinach with as a side, and I couldn't do it, man. I can eat spinach in spinach dip, but I could not eat spinach just steamed spinach. I couldn't do it. And I thought, like, as hungry as I am as an infantry guy, I'll eat this first. I couldn't do it. Yeah, look, same thing I tell people. I don't care what other people eat. Like I'm not gonna like, oh, that's gross. You eat spinach. I just can't do it. Like there's something about the taste of it that I can't do. Now the taste of coconut I love. Like I can drink coconut rum, but I can't put coconut in my mouth. The actual like a candy or something that has coconut, I can't do it. It's, and I'm not trying to be like controversial here. I know a lot of people will do that stuff, but like, yeah, there's like there's a whole flavor thing for me for spinach, but there's a whole texture thing for me for coconut. Got no problem with the taste of coconut. I actually like it in rum. I like it in like light flavors and stuff, but I can't have that. There's something about the, I don't know what it is. It's like the way it breaks down. I can't do it. But the one thing that I will call gross in front of everybody is black olives. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't eat black olives, that's for damn sure. I'll eat just about everything else, but not black olives. So I don't know what my problem is with olives, but it's everything with them. All right, so we're still on day 3. I got 52. Okay, so I got a new slide, and it says. So on this slide, we're gonna do ls. Is there any? All right. Let's see, what's the IB? I can never remember what. Oh, open IBD. That's what it is. Finding broken services, checking all that stuff. Network devices. New slide. Service and modules. With the node. So then I'm noting to these guys that you're probably only going to go as far down as I'm about to show them if there's something really wrong with the node, right? Like, and that's one of the things about, like, when you show people, it's very hard to teach people troubleshooting because, I mean, literally anything could go wrong. So really what you try to do is show them like what right looks like, right? Yeah, cool, because I don't know what it is about olives. When I was a kid, I'd eat them right out of a can, but as an adult, green olives are tolerable. Black olives, I can't even. Like, if you had a black olive pizza and you pulled the olives off for me, I still couldn't eat it. I would. Okay, well, hold on. Let me back up here. I'm a bigger gentleman. I could definitely eat it. I just wouldn't enjoy it. Let's be clear about one thing. I'm still eating the damn pizza. I like pizza too much. But I'd be sitting there the whole time in the corner like that little Pingu thing going, meh. like if you guys have ever seen the. Hold on, where's it at? That's my retro pie. Hold on. This would be me the whole time. Now I'm not doing it. That's me. I mean, I'm still gonna eat it, but I'm not gonna enjoy it. You guys are gonna hear about it my whole time as I complain. I would try those just because they look like Castlevania. When I looked down, I was like, what's Castlevania got to do with any of this? And I was like, does he mean Metroidvania? And then I read what you said. And then I realized I probably should have a bigger font for what I'm reading down there. I'm just kidding. That's funny. Yeah, I was like, Castlevania. Oh, Castlevania. Yeah. That's like, have you guys ever tried to spell? I'll tell you what. You want a fun word to spell. Try to spell those pepperoncinis. Try to spell pepperoncinis. Let's see if our thing can do it right. Did it do it right? Did it spell it right? It's almost like a pepperoni-chini. Have you guys ever seen the word pepperoncini? It kind of, it doesn't look like what you would think. No, it looks more like a pepperoni. Here, we'd look it up. I don't know how to spell it. It's not even going to be able to drag it in for me. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, it's weird that it has an O in it because we call them pepperoncinis. And is it I can't see it right now because I have it behind other things, but yeah, it almost looks like pepperoni. Yeah. Yeah, it does not pop out the way that your brain thinks. I always have a hard time with that. But then again, I'm also the guy that doesn't like the way Colonel is spelled. Yeah, that type of Colonel. Colonel. I always thought that's weird. All right, but you know what can we do? I didn't choose to make my any of my majors English, so I don't get to argue about that stuff. Let's see. I'm over here and I'm looking at doing status for OpenIBD, which is a kind of a thing that they might need to check out. And then like are the modules, are we seeing the modules that we expect? Are we seeing all the modules? Moving that up, moving that up, moving that up. All right. 53 total slides, which I think also brings me to my total. It's 130 plus, yep, 70, so that's 100. So I'm at 200 slides. So that means I get to take a little break. Get to go walk around. How often are you spelling that? Well, I mean, me and my wife have a jar of them in the fridge because they're actually she doesn't do a lot of spicy stuff, but she can put those on like sandwiches and stuff, and she likes them. So sometimes we'll put those on. Sometimes we'll put those even on burgers or something. So those are pretty good. So anyways, I've just noticed by looking at the word, yeah, it's kind of like I got a jar of pickles in there and then I got a jar of those. So talking about food things, I actually prefer, like me and the wife, we keep whole pickles and then we slice them up when we want to use them. Like, so if we need pickle slices, we don't buy them as pickle slices, we buy them as whole pickles and then slice them ourselves. And I think that, I don't know why, but I prefer that. So that's one of those things you never really think about, but it is probably kind of weird if you think about it. You're like, oh, it's a little bit. I mean, it's not gross. It's just a little different. And I 100% prefer that. All right. So I'm gonna take a walk real quick. We'll leave Robedom in charge. He can let you guys know on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, dill pickles are good. Yeah. Have you ever seen actual dill? I had friends that had a little farm, and I walked in one time, and I was like, man, that's a really strong smell. And they're like, yeah, it's dill. And then when you look at like dill as like a plant, it has these tiny, tiny, tiny little like seeds, and that's actually the flavor. Like so dill is like the flavor that's in the vinegar, but it's obviously not the yeah. It's interesting that I didn't know that until I was on a farm. I always thought dill was I thought that flavor came from the pickles because I was a dumb kid. But then as I got older and went and I had to go on a farm, I didn't have to go on a farm, but I had friends that owned a farm, and I was kind of hanging out, and they had like greenhouses. So yeah. Yeah, it probably is just the leaves, but it has, man, it's such a strong smell. Like you're immediately like, whoa, okay, that's where that flavor comes from. As soon as you walk in the room, like dill overpowers. It's kind of like how lemon is. Have you ever squeezed lemon into anything? If you ever juice anything, lemon immediately takes over. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a walk real quick. Robe Dom's in charge till I get back. I should probably get a little one of those penguins that changes to when I'm taking a break. So, all right, but we'll be back. Oh yeah, fresh drill is super potent, 100%. You can't even be in the room with it without that being the overpowering smell. Like in a greenhouse or something, that is the smell that you smell. I don't know if there's any plants that can overpower it, but I have yet to see one. So, all right, I'll be back around. Take a wander. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. You know what we should do? Well, I'm gonna get a few more slides built. Maybe we'll go right over to Fisherman for a bit. That'd be good. Hang out over there. So. All right. So mounting this tool. Let's fix all the background on here. Highlight color. Boom. The Kick Droid, thanks for coming by. It looks like we got a bunch of follows. Did we get raided by somebody and it's not telling us? Hopefully this stuff's useful to you guys. I'm just kind of hanging out and not working too hard right now. You guys can see my dog Ranger. But yeah, thanks for the follows, guys. I'm building training on a different slide deck, so you guys can't actually see what I'm doing, but you can kind of hang out and see what's going on in our cluster and what's happening with Well, obviously my dog Ranger there. So thanks for that, and maybe the follow will, or maybe the raid will come through eventually. Oh, by Rob, nice, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of Rob. I go raid over to Rob every now and then, so hopefully he's doing well. We're gonna try to do a collab one of these days when I get, man, I gotta do all this training. I gotta go out to Hawaii and give the training, and then I'm going to be working on, yeah, just a lot of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So I appreciate that for people that followed, people that are hanging out. You guys are welcome to hang out. Rob's probably doing more interesting stuff than me right now, but sometimes I do some cool stuff too. So you guys are welcome to hang out with us. Ask any questions you want. If there's anything that you're curious about, let me know, and I will try to help you out. One of the big questions I always get is the closed captioning at the bottom of my screen. That is simply PowerPoint in the background. Ask to come to Prolog. That's always fun too. People have fun with Professional Linux Users Group, and our goal, the reason I do any of this is to hang out and kind of tell you guys that, you know, we've got a Professional Linux Users Group where you can go and take this maybe hobby that you enjoy. We're all hobbyists, and become a professional, right? Like if any of you want to become a pro in this space, that's the goal of our group, is to help you find a path, chart a course, you know, find a far star to navigate off of, and turn your heading towards maybe doing this stuff. Yeah, that was actually a fun little follow bomb, Robodom. We got a bunch of follows, and it wasn't a raid. Normally you get those like after a raid, and I think it's funny. But no, I'm glad that Rob's on. Maybe we'll go raid Rob. That would be kind of fun. I'm gonna hang out for a little while longer and keep working on some of my training here, but I gotta make these things dark because I don't like these things in a light mode. Ah, damn it. I have so if you guys have ever used Google Docs has a pretty good ability to do slide decks and other things. They're pretty good little tooling. They're not the best, but they're pretty good. Yeah, Shunya, yeah, we need to find something that he and I can do. I don't know if he wants me to build out some systems and then he can lay some code over the top, or if he wants to do some infrastructure. You know, I don't know, but whatever's, you know, I'm pretty cool with hanging out. He and I have never like officially met. I hung out in his streams when I first decided to start streaming. I kind of watched some of his stuff, and I had been on Twitch for years when I started streaming, but it was mostly just to watch people play video games. And I was like, I don't see many people doing Linux, and Rob was the only guy really doing Linux. And I was like, well, I'm going to start showing people how to do Linux. And then I remember there's a few times in there, I tell this story, but it's true. There were a few times in there where I was just like, you know, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to quit. There's no reason. I'm making like less than $1 an hour doing this. This is, I mean, guys, this is 100% like a, you do this because you like to do it, not because you're trying to make money at it. Unless you're like somebody with like over 1,000 followers, you know, 1,000 people watching at any given time, you're probably doing good. But, you know, if you've got, you know, 10 to 100 people, you're not really making money. You're probably you're like beer drinking money or something. But and I don't drink beer. But the point is, like, you're not like making a lot. And then where I'm going with that is, I was just like, you know what, I do really well. I'm an engineer, and I always have more time to work engineering. And I'm a college professor, and I could always spend more time college professoring. And I was like, well, fuck it, you know, I'm just gonna quit. And I remember I was talking to Rob one day, and he's like, don't you dare quit. He was like my Samwise Gamgee. He was like, don't you dare quit. We don't have enough of you guys around here. And I was like, all right, I'll keep doing it. But mainly I just do it to let you guys know that we've got a Professional Linux Users Group. It's always going to be free. You're always going to be able to go hang out down in our Discord and, you know, do whatever you guys want down there without fear of reprisals. As long as you're not breaking the law, I don't care what you do in that server. You know, and when I say law, I mean whatever local laws of your country are, you know. So let's see. We do all that stuff. We do all that. Show them how to do that stuff. I think that's getting to be pretty good for the training. I gotta figure. Yeah, yeah, Robodom. Well, you were already part of the community by then, Robodom, so it was okay. But yeah, I try to keep positive around here. We're not working too hard today. We're just kind of hanging out and watching systems. Um, I'm gonna add some training docs or training links. So let me go find where. So for some of you guys that have been around, we've got the STIG. So OpenSCAP is here. So if you ever need OpenSCAP. And then SCC scanning tool comes from, where'd that go? We'll get rid of that guy. So OpenSCAP, oops. OpenLava is different. There we go. There's OpenSCAP. And then hop back over here. And then the other one is SCC scanning tool. DISA. This comes from DISA. And so if you've ever been on here, you can get the SCAP tools. There's the SCC tools. So that's that. And then I don't know where they got Radix from, so I'm not gonna show them that. That's their own tool. So I think they know how to do that. And now I got to start describing security in the cluster for these guys, and specifically how I applied SCAP tools. I have their overall security posture already linked up there, and then shared virtual IP for the nodes that are up. Oh, I should probably show that over on this other section here. So when the nodes are up, there's a shared IP. Should probably show that. So let me get back over to my configs here. And so I want to show them here. I want to show them this. And I want to show them this and this. So 1 and 2. Yep, okay. So I need to show them. Slide. Drop this on there. Whoops. Edit. Copy. I'm going to say only the head node. Format that to dark. dark. Get rid of that. Alright. Only the head node ever has the virtual IP of the cluster. That's true. Hop in sometime when you guys are doing that. Yeah, that might be kind of fun. Yeah. I think it would be good. I know Rob's been educating guys for a long time on this, and he used to run a training that would teach this stuff to kids. I remember he was talking about that. And I think he's even shown pictures of that to you guys before, so that's kind of important. Down with the shortness, thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Robodom, you still around? Can you give a shout out to Rob back? So if anybody doesn't follow Rob, they probably should, unless you've already done it. For some reason, when I look at this in multi-stream mode, I don't see if we give shout outs back. Although I should see it down here. I don't see it. Doesn't show it. But alright, so I got that going, and that training is up to 50 total slides now, so that's cool. That's cool. I got that going for me, which is nice. Alright. Wait a minute. That was already at 50 slides. How could that have been at 50 slides and then I add slides and then it's only at 50 still? Oh well. Oh well. All right. Yep, so we're just jamming, guys. We're not working too hard. And we are setting stuff up. Oh, I gotta go check my grade book. One of my grades just popped up in my college class. Ah. It happens. That's fine. Teacher dinged me 1 point for not knowing grounded theory was a qualitative instead of a quantitative research theory. I now know that quite well, guys, but I did not know that when I did my discussion. So she dinged me a point. It's fine. It's all fine. I think I've told you guys in my undergrad I had straight A's, and then I got super addicted to WoW, so I finished off with about like I had a 3.96 at the end of my undergrad. In my master's program, I had like a 3, I think it was a 3.86, but it was a little harder to get A's than that. And then in my doctorate, I'm just like, ugh, and I'm like a B+ student. I don't even care to get A. I have a couple A minuses and then mostly B pluses across the board, and I just don't care because one, it's my doctorate. My thesis is going to stand, like my research paper is going to stand on its own or not, right? It doesn't matter what the letter grades I got getting to there were. And then two, I'm not beholden to anybody for my doctorate. I pay for it myself. I don't have any like loans or nothing like that. I just pay for it as I go. So there's no, nobody's gonna be like, hey Scott, keep that C average. I'd be like, go fuck yourself, right? Like I'm paying for this thing. I don't care. Although don't get me wrong, I do want to learn stuff, obviously, because if I'm paying for it, I definitely want to get everything out of it. So I'd rather a teacher correct me on grounded theory being a qualitative and not a quantitative research design methodology. The paper I was reading when I read about grounded theory, I didn't even realize the guy was doing a qualitative assessment. I thought it was quantitative, so I had to fix myself there a little bit, which you have to do often in academia. And teacher knocked a point off, so that's fine. 1 point out of 6, so it's still about an 80. It's about an 84% or so, right? If you were looking at, or 83.33%, so it's not that big of a deal. Run amok, or what is that? I can't see it in here in this. I'm in my little multi-stream thing, so I don't see like the cool Twitch one, and I don't have all my other all my other screens up. So, but yeah, I assume it's something funny. But it does bug me. I just added a slide to this one and it didn't add any slides. I'm like, wait a minute. I literally, I know I just added a slide here. And I have the same amount of slides as I did before. That sucks. Alright. Down with the shortness. You said, what's the Progress Quest? So Progress Quest is a game that it started back in 2002. So it is like a 24-year-old game. And it's just a game that plays itself. It's a little old idler that's been around. I think they revamped it. They rewrote it in 2019. But it literally just, you pick a character and then it starts playing the game. And mine's been playing, I'm level 47, so I think I've been playing for about, I don't know, probably 7 days or so. And it just goes and it does things, and then it sells things, and it buys better gear, and then you go out and you're constantly adding experience and plot development and quests and inventory until your encumbrance gets full. Then you go back to town and sell everything, and then you buy better gear. Yeah, it's a silly little game. Just something I started doing while we were co-working, because normally if I'm not co-working, you guys can see me. But this month, the last like probably week and some change, anybody that's watched this has probably been like, man, this guy's never even on stream. I used to exclusively be on stream, but I needed to get a lot of work done, and then I found out that you guys helped me focus, so I've been kind of using this as a way to kind of just hang out. And then that's just another thing for you guys to kind of hang out and watch while we're, listening to music. And I'm working on stuff in a different screen that you guys unfortunately can't see. If it wasn't proprietary, I would definitely show it to you. But since it is proprietary stuff, I can't. But normally I show you guys exactly what I'm working on. But we're just, we're hanging out today, not working too hard. And that's kind of where we're at. I probably need to go. I'm gonna go grab for this template file stuff. I'm gonna show. So let me go pull up another doc here real quick. So overlay template files for werewolf, and that's how they spell it. So access tag. So I'm showing you guys, but this is part of the training I'm doing here. So I want to stop that thing from spinning for a second. They can add tags, they can increment or decrement numbers or names. They can do comments. I'm going to add actually, say new slide, build template files. And I'm going to come up here and say C, paste without formatting, and then say, make it all smaller. Everything smaller. So, format text to black. All right. So hopefully, yeah, progress quest is just another thing wasting time as I'm grabbing some of this stuff and turning it into information that's useful to me for my training. I wanted some of that wording there on, I'm showing them the templates that are there, I'm showing them how they're getting set into the system, but then obviously, as with any customer that's buying a big high performance compute cluster from somebody, they're going to want to know eventually how to walk and build stuff on their own, right? Like, so I'm showing them all the things that we've done, but then build template files, which is basically that page and then the link to that page. This is how you go find more information about the system, right? Here's more context and more things to learn as they kind of spin off, and then look at that. So then I'm going to show them how to compare overlays. Here's different overlays, and then they can compare where things are at in the system. So I know you guys can't see all that, but that's kind of I'm thinking through my thoughts as I go for my different users. Let me get that out of the way. I don't need that right now. There we go. And this one will be 51. And that'll be 201. We come back over to this. So we were watching, let's go back over here. And then we need kernels. How does Werewolf look at kernel management? We can see the containers. We can see if there's any kernel overrides. How many kernels have been imported and where they're being set. I'm going to say checking kernels. I'm going to duplicate that slide. Let's see. Okay. Just gonna throw this here. Paste without formatting. And then I'm going to move this a little bit so I have more room to see it. I don't know if you guys can hear that helicopter overhead. I have a hospital near my house, so sometimes we get helicopters. It's almost always emergencies when there are. That was probably somebody being airbacked right there. So I'm going to point out to them, yeah, we don't really do this, but we don't do it in our cluster, but it is something that's possible to do, right? Like kernel overrides. And I could do kernel overrides in our lab. Like if you guys needed to see different labs in our werewolf cluster, that's the top right of the screen there, where we're just watching werewolf do a bunch of operations with its clients and stuff. We could override the kernels and then reboot the system and that kind of stuff. So, but you got to remember, anytime you do something in werewolf, if it's not an override, and if specifically override, sorry, if it's not an overlay, and specifically not a runtime overlay, it doesn't change. Yeah, because what are our two types of overlays? There's system overlays and runtime overlays. So system overlays only come up as it goes. Runtime overlays run periodically while the system's running, and they keep getting updated all the time. That's an important thing to kind of note. All right, so I show how to build template files. I show how to build override container images if people want to do that. And then I'm going to go look at my training here and say that's up to 52 slides. What's this one up to? This one's at 53. Okay. So we're getting there. I'm going to go grab my training book and start giving them even more info. That's more standardized. Okay. Let's see. Insert a line. More lines everywhere. You get a line, you get a line, everybody gets a line. Alright. It's up to 36 pages now with that. That's fun. All right. I would say I'd go grab some lunch, but I'm not going to go anywhere and get lunch. I'm just going to go downstairs and grab those last 2 slices of cold pizza and just munch on them while I'm sitting here. So maybe I'll do that here in a minute or so. Is anybody here working through the Linux systems administration? Is anybody stuck on anything? Anybody need any help? I know that there are, let me go check right now. I think there are people down right now. There's only one person in study groups, but there were people earlier working through there. And then I think they have a standing meeting on Fridays now. So you guys are welcome to if you see people down, this is one of the things that I tell people about the group is, if you see people down in pretty much any one of those channels, you can go hang out with them. Like if you're in any one of these channels, there's no like exclusive group, or it's not like you can't hang out with people. Our standard stuff is on Saturdays, and it shows there's a little event. And we used to have a few other events that were kind of staples of the group, but some of the guys got busy, so they got rid of them. But yeah, Wear My Teeth. The best time to start it was 6 weeks ago and today. Today's the second best time to start it. So if you are interested in that, again, guys, that course is completely free. I'm not charging anything for it. It's just for you guys that want to get ready. If you're not in the field and you got nothing else to show you or to walk through it, that's what we're doing there. Yeah, Colchis. I was bringing it up because I was wondering if anybody was enjoying it. I know I've heard at least 3 people now say that they enjoyed it more than they did their college classes, and that they were learning a lot. Some of you guys that did do a lot of college, you'll notice that, well, I mean, I'm a college professor, so it looks a lot like things that I teach. It's not the same things that I teach, but it's very similar in the genre, archetype, and I guess if you want to talk about what we call it, modalities, right? Like that's the doctorate term, modalities. Yeah. So yeah, Colchis, like I try to get you guys focusing on hands-on. I try to get you focusing on discussion with people. Like there's a lot of aspects to if you go look up like Bloom's taxonomy, what I'm trying to do to people. I'm making you guys look at things different ways, and then we have our little study sessions, which those are all up on YouTube for people that want that. So yeah, Wear My Teeth. Don't worry about it. There's no rush. You guys are welcome to just hang out, and like those things are gonna stay up. And then what I was telling people is like I'll probably clean up my thoughts on a lot of that, and I'll probably make another little Lean Pub book. And the Lean Pub book it'll be one of those $20 things, but it'll be like if somebody, when it's all done, you could just go to the Discord and find it all, or if you just want it all kind of packaged up, it'll be in there. Yeah, Colchis, people were really, the reason I've been doing more of the scenario stuff is I think people were telling me that they really like those. And I always learned well with case studies in college because there's a lot of different things that people focus on. And that's why the discussions are like they are for you guys, is because we all think of things differently. And then, somebody will say something about Firewall D or Firewall CMD that you never really thought of. Not just like technical thing. I'm not talking just like a command that you've never seen. Although, as Linux guys, we love seeing a command we've never seen before, right? Like, ooh, now I can go dig into that. But there's another aspect to it where like somebody comes at a firewall at a completely different angle than what you did. You thought of it as just something that protected the server, but somebody else points out that like, well, it also changes the way that somebody scans the network because your device responds differently behind a firewall than it would otherwise. So it can mask what types of devices you're using, and you're like, "Ooh, I never even thought about that." And then and I'm making stuff up, but I mean that is true, by the way. But I'm saying like the different things I've seen people say, because I read all the discussions, right? People are saying things, and then like you go and you dig in, and you're like, "Oh, that is an interesting way to think about it." Or somebody has a really good write up, and you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna take that for my stuff outside of here," and then that becomes something useful. There's so many useful things. Like collaboration is always better than stuff happening in a void. That is literally the idea and concept behind open source, right? Like one person working in his basement can't build Linux. Linux is really, I'm gonna drop the joke on you guys. No, Linux is actually a Linux kernel with a whole bunch of other stuff that happened to be ready for a kernel, right? There was literally probably at that point tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of human hours invested in all of these programs that were moving away from like the Unix kernel, right? And they were looking for somewhere to land, and this Linux kernel did good enough. Just like if you guys ever study about like Ethernet 2, and you're like, why is Ethernet 2? And if we go look at like MEF, I don't know if any of you guys have, if you're not a networking major, you've probably never heard of MEF. But Metro, if you've never seen MEF, It is the Metro Ethernet framework, right? And and if you've never been on this or you ever never seen like Ethernet 2 is not a perfect protocol, but it's pretty damn good. And when we don't have a lot of and when we don't have, so if we built a protocol that was designed to work in a collision based environment, so carrier sense multiple access with collision detection is a type of networking where multiple devices are connected to the same circuit, and then you can transmit whenever you want as long as nobody else is transmitting. And if anybody connects and sees a collision happening, they broadcast a bunch of ones. Everybody builds a back off, goes off. Right, that's what the carrier sense multiple access with collision or what we call detect, or what we call CSMA/CD. Right. There's also a carrier sense CSMA/CA, which is how wireless works, which is carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. Well, anyways, I'm just brain dumping on you guys for a second. But the reason I bring that up is to say Ethernet 2 is pretty good in a collision environment up until you get about 60% saturation, and then things start having problems, right? But since we don't really have collision domains anymore with a whenever you have a full duplex switch connection, you no longer have collisions. There's no longer a collision because my transmits to your receive and your transmits to my receive, and we no longer have a collision on that line, even between switches. So I've seen incorrect things where it shows, there's still a collision domain between a switch. No, they're two separate channels and the travel is never conflicted. But anyways, the reason I bring that all up, and while I brought up Metro Ethernet framework, is had something to do with it's the same thing with kind of like our group is I forget where I was going with that, but anyways, yeah, Metro Ethernet framework. If you've never heard of MEF, Ethernet kind of won everywhere, man, because it's good enough, right? And I was talking about that for something, but I've forgotten why now. All right, let me go. I'm gonna go grab food. I'm gonna wander downstairs for a minute. Robodom, you're in charge. This will be like my third break of the day, I think. But I'm gonna go grab something to eat from downstairs, and I'll sit up here and keep working through my lunch and talking with you guys. So let me know if you guys have any questions about anything. If you guys have any, if you're doing the labs or if you're doing the Linux Systems Administration course and you're like, I want to know more about this or this, I'll be working more topics in. Don't worry about that. But also, I've been asked to do my engineering one after. So we're doing Linux Systems Administration to show you guys that intro. But then, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick here. If I were to show you this real quick, and then I move over here to our Linux Systems Administration, right? And we're doing this over here. But some of you guys have asked me to do the systems engineering side of it. And it's not that you couldn't jump right into systems engineering. You probably could. But the thing about jumping right into systems engineering is you probably need most companies probably are going to require you to have a degree if you're going to jump right into engineering. Can you get into engineering from the Linux Systems Administration? Absolutely. Some of the best engineers I know have no college behind them. My younger brother John is a level 6 engineer at a big insurance company, which is as high as they go in that company before they make them into architects. Does really well, does very well for himself, but he started over here. He was a sysadmin, and he was constantly making things better and doing stuff and pushing the envelope. And then they're like, shit, let's get this guy designing stuff. And he started building everything. He started doing all kinds of stuff. And he runs OpenShift over there. So, all right. Let me get that out of the way. That was just us looking at VS Code for a little bit. All right. I'm going to be back. I'm going to go wander. Robodom's in charge till I get back. if you guys saw Ranger down there, but that dog looks at me like there's two thoughts in his head. It's this guy again. That's the first one. And the second one is, this guy's eating again? Those are the two things I think goes through Ranger's head when he sees me. Alright. So we're just hanging out. We're not working too hard. Get some stuff out of my way. Yeah, Ranger didn't even pick his head up. I was over here to the left getting food out of the fridge. Ranger didn't even, like, he looked at me and just, whatever. This guy again. He's the worst. He looks at me like this. The worst, Parks and Rec. This is what Ranger looks at me like. There you go. As Ranger looks at me like when I walk in the room. He's like, "You're the worst." No, I'm not configuring Woozah or Wazoo. I'm just kind of hanging out. Yeah, CP, I'm mostly just doing... I'm building training in a different window. So those things are just to give you guys something to hang out with and look at and stimulate you while we do other stuff in different windows. That's all that is. I think I'm up to 202 now. 202 total slides. Trying to get to 250 if I can. Yeah, I'm the worst until I give him a treat. That's true. Once he thinks there's a snack in play, the game changes for him. That's my dog for you. Alright. This is my union mandated break time for lunch. I'm just kidding. I've never been in a union. In case anybody didn't know that. That's a fun fact. Hold on, we gotta go fix our hold on. This thing's busted. Alright. Let's see, is that better? Are we back? We made it almost 3 hours without that breaking. That's a pretty good run. Did I take my fit? Yeah. Yeah, Robdom, you're in California, so you know. In California, you have to actually like log your 15-minute breaks. Which I only know that because Lockheed Martin used to have to do some pretty interesting things. Alright, I gotta pull these things back up in front. We'll let the training sit there. So the closed captioning's back on, so that's always good. So what's everybody working on today? Anybody working on anything fun? There's some labs there if you guys want to go play with some Fisherman labs. That's on Linux system administration stuff. How are you liking Golang? I said, how are you liking? Jeez. Nice, Bing Bong. Are you syllabus for your software security class next term? Nice. It's always good. And are you teaching that or are you taking it? I assume if you have the syllabus already, you're probably teaching it, right? Oh, you're taking it, okay. Cool. Yeah, thanks for coming by, Chris, over on the YouTube side. Yeah, Bing Bong. That's how my college is too. Like my students have access right now to my stuff, even though the class doesn't start. I'm actually not sure if it starts next week or the week after. I gotta check that. So. Runnemucker, what's your build process look like for your Go? What I mean is, do you just are you just writing it and then building it right on the system and then running it, or are you doing it in containers? Because there's a lot of practical skills there. If you were to just deploy it, if you were to deploy something over and over again in a container, as you built your little Go program and then just pushed it up and ran it in a container, that's a pretty straightforward workflow. I'm just curious. That's fair enough. Although containers, you know, recompile, rebuild your container, redeploy your container locally, and then test your app. That's probably only about 20 seconds. And then if you just build into a script. Anyways, if you're, if you are playing with that and you want to, yeah, I'm sure some of the guys can work on that. Anyway, I'm just saying that's it's interesting. You can all, I mean, look, it doesn't really help much, but if you haven't done a lot of container stuff, you can play with that too. And then we go load it up into some of the old Kubernetes. Get some pods running. Now we got an API to hit. Next thing you know, taking over the world. All right. We go to my day 4 training. Let's see. All right. A little bit of there's always some classroom stuff. Anytime you run training, you always have to have a certain amount of like just housekeeping stuff at the beginning. Some of you guys that have been coming to like the Linux systems administration, you guys see excuse me, that I'm always, hey, these are the things, these are how you contact me, these are the pieces of the training, where they're at. And the reason I do that every week is because it kind of becomes second nature to you. You know where the things are, and then as you progress through a course or a set of courses, things get easier because everything's always in the same spot. And in my little lab guide here, actually this is in the training docs, I'm pointing out to them that we've tried to provide every password and login piece of information, but if anything's found during this training, let me know and we'll get the info so they have full access control of the system. Training. Let me know and we'll get info. All right. Yeah, run amucker. There's not really, yeah, no classes in Golang. Fair. Yeah, but I know that Golang will yell all over the place if you try to import something, which I think they use a different name for it, but if you try to bring something in that's not being used, I remember it will shit all over the place and be like, you can't, why are you bringing that in if you're not using it? And you're just like, So if you ever comment something out to test or something like that, and it's not being used anymore, that's what I mean, that would slow my workflow down, because I'm used to working in Bash or Perl where they're like, oh yeah, you want that? Yeah, you want that? Okay. And I said Bash or Perl, and it said Bashar. I don't think Bashar is a word, is it? Somebody look that up for me. Yeah. So you comment something out and you're not using it anymore, and now all of a sudden we've got a problem here. So that's kind of funny. Of course, you guys know I don't program, but I do program. I don't code professionally. I program plenty. I just don't code professionally. I will never be a software engineer, but I do still do plenty of other stuffs, right? Technical stuffs. All right. Major instructional areas, course objectives. Let me go look at that for my other slides and my other things. Understand real-world components. Understand Slurm components. Over here. Alright, I'm going to change this. Identify, troubleshoot, understand. How to get console access and pull system information. Figure out anything else of importance or interest to running the cluster. Interesting, Robodom. Maybe I did want you guys to bring glad tidings. You ever think about that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm good. Cluster security operations. So general posture. I get into tools. Security in the cluster. This one will technically have labs 4.1 through whatever, and then lunch break, we'll talk about Radix. Thought had crossed my mind. That's funny. All right, but yeah, we're just jamming tonight. We're not working too hard. All right, up to 19 slides here. That puts us at 204. I think 204. Yep. Let me see. Might do something for fun here. Oh, I need to get that tool in there. Yep. So I need to remember that's up there. Let's go to dashboard. Tell you guys what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if Fisherman's still streaming. Nope, Rob's streaming. He's doing some command stuff. That looks kind of interesting. Let's see people I'm following. We got to go to Fisherman because he's one of our guys. But we would normally go over and check out RWX Rob because he's pretty great. And I'm gonna tell you should go check out his stuff. But we're gonna go hang out with Fisherman for a little bit. If you guys want to hang out, he's doing some stuff. Check out the cool little things he does. He's the guy that builds our bot for our server. So if you've got anything that's kind of cool down in the Discord that you want to know about, ask him about it. But we'll go right over there. I appreciate you guys coming by. Let me go to my little end of stream thing here. I definitely appreciate you guys coming by, and we will hang out probably later on tonight or later on this week. Take care.